So welcome to the CLPC annual meeting for 2023. So I'm Lee Freilich. I'm the president of the board of directors for CLPC. And in my day job, I'm the director of the Center for Forest Ecology at the University of Minnesota. So I do know a little bit about trees, and trees will come up several times during the program tonight. And first, I'd like to give thanks to Somali TV and New American Youth Soccer Club for filming the event tonight. So round of applause. And also the music, Mark Stillman and Trent Palmberg of Wooddale Church, who made this facility available to us, the 19 Bar and Nicollet Diner for providing food. So first, I'd like to introduce the board members. So Diane Connor is not here today, and I think she's the vice president, but Jana thinks she's the secretary, so she's one of those two. We have David Evinger, if you want to stand for a second. Alex Heller. We don't see anybody standing. Norman Kolba. Vanessa Rybicka. Okay, John Van Heel. And we are also missing Terry Ashmore, who is our board treasurer, who is recuperating from injury from slipping on the ice, and she is watching online, and we wish her well in her recovery. And myself, Lee Freilich, the president of the board. Oh yes, Phyllis is on the list here, so, and she is a board member as well. And finally, the person who does all the work, Jana Medji, the executive director. And then we also have James Clark, the principal of Emerson School, and Jean Heyer, who is the district director for Ilhan Omar. If you two would please stand for a second. So I believe that's all for the introductions right now. We'll introduce the speakers later when they speak. But right now is voting for the board of directors. And one of our former presidents, Christopher Hofer, will run the voting for the board from the back. He's unable to do the stairs today. So Christopher, take it away.
For the third and final time, I appreciate that, Bill. And third and final time, is there a nomination from the floor? Yes. Going to be nominated? Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you all. With that occurring, what I'd like to do is invite Phyllis, Bubba, David, Norman up to the stage, should they wish, to say a couple words on why they want to be on the board or return to the board. And it's a chance just for some of us who don't know you well, just to put a voice and a face to a name. So I encourage anyone who wants to go up, just take a couple minutes and go up. Or are we all being shy enough?
Last year, but it's been a wonderful experience. I've gotten to know so much about the neighborhood, and I've gotten more involved. I'm on the safety committee, and we've begun a new project with Emerson School, which just makes my Fridays a very bright star. We've become reading buddies with the kids over there, so I'm getting back into using my Spanish again. Anyway, it's a great way to support the neighborhood, and I just absolutely adore this neighborhood. So I am running for a full 2-year term. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Norman. I am seeking my re-election for my second term. I've lived in Loring Park now for 10 years, and one of the first people I met when I first moved to Loring Park was Jana. And I've worked closely with her on a couple different projects before I joined the board. Most importantly, I don't do a lot on the board, but I do work on the holiday party, and I've helped with Love Loring in the past. But I really enjoy being a part of CLPC, and I like working closely with people who live in the neighborhood and other businesses, and I always make it a point to invite new people that I meet in Loring Park who have maybe just moved to the neighborhood or don't know about CLPC to check us out online, join the newsletter, or participate for events. So, thank you.
Good evening. My name's David Evinger, and I'm seeking my second term on the CLPC board. As you can tell from my attire, I'm also involved with Eileen and others in our neighborhood walking club. I came to the Twin Cities in 1979 from the Notre Dame Law School and went to work for the Robbins firm. And I lived downtown in Minneapolis over at Symphony Place for most of that time. But I met my wife a little over 40 years ago, and we moved to the suburbs, raised our family. Well, they grew up, went away, were empty nesters, and we decided to come back downtown. And we knew downtown, having been involved forever, and we really wanted to live in Loring Park because of its beautiful diversity. And so we bought an old Minneapolis landmark and restored it and got involved in the community. And it is an amazing community to be involved with. And so I appreciate your being here tonight, and would like you and ask you to consider putting me back on the board for another term. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Bubba Thurn, or Brian Thurn. Everyone knows me as Bubba in the neighborhood. I lived in Loring Park for most of my adult life, until the pandemic, and moved to Southeast Minneapolis and all that. And I'm excited if I'm elected to the board again. I was on for like 4 years before, I'm excited to get my old neighbors reinvigorated in the neighborhood and participating. There's a lot of people who are out there that they have a voice, but they want to get more involved. And my friends, they even come to me with problems in the neighborhood throughout the whole pandemic. Send me messages. I reach out to Jana, and we get together. I have a good rapport in the neighborhood, so I would love to be involved again if I get voted in. Again, Bubba Thurn, and hopefully see you all soon.
Okay, thank you, Christopher, for running the board election tonight. Well, the next item on the agenda are our speakers, and the first speaker is our council member Lisa Goodman, and she's the longest serving council member. She was elected in 1997, started serving in 1998. And like me, she has a degree from the world's best university, the University of Wisconsin in Madison. And she's done so many things. If I went through the whole list, I would take her entire slot of time for speaking. But she was instrumental in building the 3 dog parks in downtown Minneapolis. And she probably doesn't remember this, but I saw Lisa Goodman climb a tree in Loring Park on Arbor Day in 2002 with the help of 2 foresters from Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board Forestry. And so that was the first surprise. And the second surprise is that in honor of all the work you've done, we are going to plant a tree, which will be the Lisa Goodman tree in Loring Park. So, and that suggestion came from Norman Kolba. So, our board member. So with that, I will turn the podium over to you.
Hard to believe I climbed a tree when I couldn't even get up on the stage. That tells you what time does to you, I suppose. Thank you so much for inviting me to say a few words tonight. I think I haven't missed a Loring Park Neighborhood annual meeting in 25 years. I believe in neighborhoods. I come from neighborhoods. I believe what neighborhoods do, their staff, the boards, the volunteers, what neighborhoods do matter. And you being here today, it matters. Because ultimately, in our city, we're broken up into neighborhoods, whether we like it or not, and we're forced as neighbors to work with people who are different than us, all for a common good, which is to improve the lives of the people who we live around. And I'm really proud of the work of CLPC, Jan Amechi, my dear friend of 26 years, all the people who are currently on the board, and all of the people who have had the opportunity to serve on the board. This is, in fact, a volunteer job that takes up a lot of time. And on behalf of the city, I just want to thank you for your service to the city, for the work that you've done. It really makes a big difference. So I lived in the Loring Park neighborhood for 21 years. I don't know if there's anyone left who didn't know that, but I lived at 209 West 15th Street, and then I lived at 1401 Willow, and then I lived above Eli's Bar at the Bellevue. So 21 years, I still call Loring Park my neighborhood. And a lot of people think it's the only neighborhood where I actually do any work. So it's been kind of something that I think people know about me. So I want to remind people who don't remember what it was like 26 years ago. Does anyone remember when Hennepin Avenue was a one-way street? Raise your hand. That was something that I changed. Does anyone remember when bikes weren't allowed on Nicollet Mall? Raise your hand. That was something I changed. Do you remember when there wasn't Nicollet Diner on Nicollet? 24-hour anchor to the city. How many people remember that? Probably more since it's newer. Can you imagine the city without the diner? And when you have great people with great ideas, they do more. And so then they open Roxy's and they buy a building that's been vacant for 5 years and they put blood, sweat, and tears in it. And they do something to add to our neighborhood. How many people remember when Loring Heights and the kind of the area above Oak Grove, when all of those mansions were threatened with demolition and one actually was torn down, and that's what energized the neighborhood? Do people remember that? Our reaction collaboratively was to designate these buildings historic, to put together a master plan that said, we don't think that big high-rises should be in that location because we want to preserve our historic structures. And we're fearful that high-rises probably will be the demise of some of these beautiful historic buildings. The neighborhood led the fight on that. And in fact, when I was first elected, prior to the time actually that I was elected, I fought to save the Lion House from demolition, the place that Mr. Evinger and his wife and Ms. Valentini have so lovingly restored. Do you remember a time when we didn't have a CLPC party at 300 Clifton? There was that time. It was a long time ago, but two really great people figured out a way to buy a building without any public support and renovate it and open it up to guests in the neighborhood. We are better for that work, all that happened from volunteers. How many people remember when there wasn't a dog park in Loring Park? We were running our dogs around the tennis courts back in the day, and now we have a beautiful dog park run by a nonprofit that I started, that we're now working to turn over to the park board so that those parks will be here for generations to come. How many people remember when there was no grocery store downtown? The first grocery store downtown actually didn't happen until it was built next to where I lived, and it opened after I moved. I'm wondering if there's some story there. But the long and short of it is Lund's opened in 2011, 12 years ago. Now we can't imagine a time without a grocery store downtown, or a Target store downtown for that matter. We have increased our population in this neighborhood by thousands of people. Although the pandemic has been hard on many, ultimately more people mean Zoes. More people mean more businesses that can operate. And we've had incredible small businesses working in our city and in our own neighborhood for a very long time. So I'm here just tonight to share with you that neighborhood annual meetings give us an opportunity to think about what's happened during the year. It gives us an opportunity as a community to thank the neighbors who have so wonderfully volunteered to make our city an incredible and much better place. I am better for working with the hundreds of neighborhood board members and staff people who have done an incredible job to build our city. And I want to thank you all for being here, for the work that you do, and for supporting the city enterprise, our staff people, our firefighters, and our police officers who work on a daily basis to help keep our city safe, clean, and moving forward. Thank you all for being here today, and thank you so much for supporting our beautiful city. I have the good fortune of introducing Inspector Peterson. And for those of you who are not familiar with MPD and its structure, I would describe him as the mayor of police for downtown Minneapolis. So the city is broken up into 5 precincts, and each precinct has a commander, and the commander is kind of like our police chief in the neighborhood. We've had many police chief inspectors in the neighborhood, but not many like Billy Peterson. So Billy lived in the city for many, many years. He has rotated through many different precincts. It's a very hard job to be the top cop in downtown. You need to do it in a way that is thoughtful, with a lens of procedural justice, with the ability to inspire the people who work for you, with the confidence of the elected officials. And Billy has done that better than almost anyone I've ever had the opportunity to work with. So I'm excited that I have the opportunity to introduce Inspector Peterson. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for the introduction. I'm honored to be here. And I'm honored to be introduced by Councilmember Lisa Goodman, who's a dear friend of mine, used to be a neighbor of mine. She mentioned that I lived in the city for many years. I actually lived in the Bryn Mawr neighborhood for about 25 years. I was explaining to someone earlier that I bought a house as a young man at 24 years old, and times changed. I ended up with a wife and a family, and I moved out a short time ago, but I believe in the city of Minneapolis. I spent the better part of my life here living in the city. I've worked for the city of Minneapolis Police Department for 27 years now, and I've been assigned downtown. I've had all kinds of different assignments over the course of my 27 years, but I've been downtown here for, it'll be almost 6 years in August. I spent 2 years as the day watch lieutenant, and I've been the inspector. It'll be 4 years in August. So I'm honored to be here tonight, and Jana asked me to come here and talk about giving hope and inspiration to all of you, given what we've all been through over the course of the past few years. So there's a few different things that she asked me to touch on here. For those of you that don't know, like Councilmember Goodman said, the city is made up of 5 different precincts, the first precinct being downtown. There's several different neighborhoods that I'm responsible for in downtown, and I have a deep connection to the Loring Park neighborhood. When I was first assigned down here as a day watch lieutenant, I would come to this very area, in fact, this building, and attend the monthly meetings. So when I was asked to take on the inspector role, I made sure that my replacement was going to be somebody that would do an excellent job, not only for the Loring Park community, but for all of the different other neighborhoods that I was responsible for as a day watch lieutenant. And I assigned Lieutenant Mark Kluko. In fact, when I was asked to take this role as the inspector, one of the conditions that I had when I took the role was to bring him in as my day watch lieutenant, because I had that much confidence in his ability to do an amazing job, public safety wise. And he's been down here now for, it'll be 4 years in August as well. And I have the utmost confidence in him and his abilities to help work on all sorts of different public safety issues within the Loring Park community. One of the things that I want to touch on is the amazing working relationship that we've had with CLPC, with Jana Metke, and so many others that I see out there in my time being downtown here. You know, over the course of the last 3 years, when many people were trying to distance themselves from the MPD, that never, ever happened with Jana Metke. With CLPC, the Loring Park community stood fast by our side, and we've worked on so many different projects over the course of the last 3 years, but the entire time that I've been down here. Some of the successful things that she wanted me to touch on was, you know, the issues that surrounded the old Speedway SA over here at the corner. And although it doesn't look pretty, you know, the things that were going on in that neighborhood, we had tried so many different things to clean up that area. And Lieutenant Kluko at one point came up with this idea to have that corner parking lot fenced off to try to deter what was going on there. And the idea came on quickly, and there was some concern about how we would get that funded. And CLPC initially helped, if I recall, around $1,800 to have that project completed. And I know they were recently refunded, I think it was in January, for that project. But the issues have drastically improved on that corner since that project was done. I already touched on Lieutenant Mark Kluko, but there's others that I want to touch on. CPS Renee Allen is over here. She's worked for, let's give a big round of applause. She's absolutely remarkable, the work that she does day in and day out for us downtown. I've only got a couple of crime prevention specialists, and she takes on the lion's share of the work that we are responsible for the entire precinct. My other crime prevention specialist has the Cedar Riverside area. Renee has all the rest of them. And she has a work ethic that is absolutely amazing. She has the ability to think through problems and to help solve problems on a daily basis. And I thank her for the work that she does each and every day. I keep telling her she's getting to the point where she probably could go at any point, but I tell her that she's got to hold on for at least 6 more years, because that's about what I've got left in my career. So give her another round of applause. I also want to thank Jana, you know, for the ups and downs of everything that we've gone through. She's been a constant supporter, not only through CLPC, but the Charter Commission, and the work that you've done here to help with public safety in the Loring Park community is truly amazing. She has all of our contact infos, mine, Lieutenant Kluko's. We're often getting texts, emails, phone calls. When any number of things pop up, she keeps us informed of what's going on, and she really does an amazing job working through all sorts of different issues to try to make the Loring Park community much, much safer. So I'd like to give Jana a round of applause as well. I hope I don't miss anybody here, but Eileen Johnson is someone else that I want to thank for the work that she's doing, not only in Loring Park, but in other neighborhoods throughout the first precinct. We mentioned the Loring Park Walking Group, but you know, there's others that she started, you know, in the North Loop. I think we're getting over into the Mill City area. Where else are you at? You're all over the place. Yep. So those walking groups are huge. The orange shirts are amazing. I like to give Eileen a hard time. She gave me one of those, and I said, that thing goes everywhere. I like to hunt and fish. That shirt made it out to North Dakota last year, pheasant hunting. It worked out extremely well for that. So in all seriousness, though, thank you for the work that Eileen does. And then we also have Shane Zahn here, is somebody else that, you know, we work very, very closely with. Those of you that don't know, he works for DID. He is housed out of the first precinct. We have the Safety Communications Center there. There's a lot of work that's going on in that downtown core, but the boundaries have pushed south into the Loring Park neighborhood, and DID is helping to improve public safety in the Loring Park neighborhood. We were driving around earlier and having conversations. A lot of things, public safety-wise, are orchestrated and supported by DID. And one of the things that we were talking about is, the different efforts that are not men and women who are putting on the blue uniform. The different outreach groups that we've got, Mad Dads, 21 Days of Peace, We Push for Peace, work very closely through DID. Mad Dads was actually down here in this very lot that I was talking about earlier. Earlier today, given evidence of that. They're doing a lot of work with Snapchat. They're sending photographs showing where they're at and the work that they're doing when they're out there. They've also got a couple of social workers that have been put on here in the past couple of years that are really doing amazing work with people that are out there struggling with mental health issues, chemical dependency issues. At first it was James Seals that was doing it, 9 to 5, but within the last couple of weeks here, they put on a second one, Kristen, and there's coverage now from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And again, those resources are coming south into the Loring Park area, doing a lot of amazing work with those folks that are struggling with those types of issues that I just talked about. There's so many other things that DID is doing to help us with public safety, again, stretching down into Loring Park area, so I want to thank them for the work that they're doing. And I specifically want to thank Shane Zahn. If you please give him a round of applause. I already touched on this, but I can't impress upon everyone enough that one of the things that I always get questioned on is, staffing levels. It's no secret that the MPD has lost a tremendous number of personnel over the last 3 years. Our staffing numbers right now are not anywhere where we would like them. I started this position at the end of 2019. I had 93 sworn police officers that I was responsible for, and I went into 2023 with 53. And when I talk about hope and inspiration, every single day that I come to work, those men and women, sworn and civilian, are doing the most remarkable work that I've ever seen in my 27-year career. We are short-staffed beyond belief, and to see the creativity, the partnerships, the going above and beyond when things occur, I've never seen it at a greater level than what I've seen in the past 3 years. So what I'm getting at is, even though we are short-staffed, the hope and inspiration is that those that still remain are going above and beyond every single day to ensure public safety for not just the Loring Park community, but for all of downtown and the city of Minneapolis. So I am inspired every single day. I'm in this role, and I'm a 24/7, 365 days a year available in my position, and there's some days that it's challenging when the phone rings in the middle of the night. My family's awakened, I'm awakened, but the inspiration comes from, no matter what problem arises, that the men and women that are still here are fighting every single day to keep this entire city safe. But for me, they're working extremely hard to keep downtown safe and all the communities like Loring Park safe. None of them are here today, but I want to thank all of those, the sworn and civilian staff that are assigned to the 1st Precinct. So I don't want to get into a whole bunch of statistical data. That's not what I'm here for. But when Jana wanted me to touch on some things that offer hope and inspiration, I wanted to touch on a few here. We ended 2022 with the highest number of guns that were ever recovered in the city of Minneapolis. We ended the year with 1,101 guns that were recovered off the streets. 246 of those came out of the 1st Precinct. It's really a staggering number. So with fewer personnel, they're out there working extremely hard and recovering more guns that we know that are used for crimes of violence. And we're ahead of that pace this year. There's been 220 guns recovered year to date in the city of Minneapolis, so that's up 22% compared to the 181 that we had last year. 51 of those have already been recovered out of the 1st Precinct. And I can tell you that some of those were recovered very, very close to the building that we're all in today. A couple of the other statistics that I want to touch on. This one we're not proud of. Auto theft is up, extremely up. We're at 160 auto thefts year-to-date compared to 104 last year, so we've had a 54% increase in that. Those numbers are being largely driven by the theft of Kia and Hyundai, so if you own one of those, please be mindful of that, where you're parking it. We're doing a number of different things. We've had a lot of bait vehicles placed down here in the Loring Park community to try to combat auto theft. The club program came back. Unfortunately, I'm trying to restock up on those right now. We gave out the last couple that we've had. Eileen's been doing a great job trying to message out. If you own a Kia or Hyundai, you've been a victim of auto theft, communicate with us and we'll do our absolute best to get you one of those so that you're not a repeat victim of auto theft. But that auto theft trend is something that we're definitely asking for help for. Don't leave your keys inside of vehicles. Don't leave them in the center console. Don't leave them in the glove box. Take those things with you. Make sure your car is locked up and that valuables aren't left inside of your cars. So that's the trend that I'm not so proud of at the start of this year. But there's a couple other ones here that are encouraging. Robberies for us are down 42% in the first precinct, and it's down significantly in the Loring Park neighborhood. We've had 29 reported this year-to-date compared to 50 year-to-date last year at the same time. Our carjackings are down relatively small numbers in the first precinct as compared to the rest of the city, but last year at this time we had 8 in the first precinct. We're at 5, so we're down 37% there. Our shots fired call, I talked about those guns that have been recovered, are down significantly. We've had 43 reported year-to-date compared to 75 last year, so that's a 43% decrease over last year. And then our gunshot wound victims, we've had unfortunately 11 reported year-to-date compared to 17 last year, but we had a couple of incidents that were involved numerous victims. So even though we're down compared to last year, the number of victims that we had, the incidents themselves are down. The number of incidents that we're having, there's just been multiple victims. We're down 35% there. And then I already touched on the gun recoveries that we've had up significantly, and we're going to continue to focus in on that. So I think I'll end by just finishing up that the partnerships and relationships that we've had with CLPC on countless issues are going to continue, and they're going to be ongoing. I don't think Jeff Melio's here today, but one of the other things I want to talk about is the turnaround that we had at 15 East Grant. When I first started this position downtown, there was a lot of issues going on there related to affordable came in. That changed hands, working very closely with them. But we're going to continue to do that with any issues that arise. I'll assure you of that. In the Loring Park community, we'll work closely with CLPC, business owners, community members to ensure the best possible public safety that we can moving forward. So with that, that's all I've got. Thank you for having me.
So many thanks to Inspector Peterson for that report. We have 2 more speakers from the Downtown Improvement District, and they are greening staff, not the ones who are picking up the litter or anything like that. These are the people who are responsible for trying to green downtown Minneapolis with more trees. And we have Ella Graham, who is with the Minnesota Green Corps, and Eli Marriott, who's a with the Community Forestry Corps. So if you 2 would like to come up, and I will give you the podium.
I'm kind of short. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having us. We're very happy to be here. Before we do introductions or anything, I have 3 questions. So first, raise your hand if you've ever had a connection with a tree or a plant. Yes. Woohoo. Okay. And then the next question, raise your hand if you've ever volunteered in your neighborhood or in downtown. Yay. Okay, give it up for all the volunteers. Round of applause. Okay, and then last question, so just shout out your answers. What's your favorite thing about volunteering? Just one word. Favorite thing about volunteering. Don't be shy, just shout it out. Awesome. I'm hearing connection, meeting people, fun. I would say all the same things. Thank you so much for interacting. That's so fun. Okay, so we want to talk about trees and volunteering. We think both are really, really important, and that's why we're here to talk to you today. My name's Ella Graham, and I'm a Minnesota Green Corps member. I'm serving at the Downtown Improvement District, and I've been there since fall 2021. Green Corps is basically a year-long service-based position where everybody works on different projects. So my project is with the urban forest. So I do tree watering work, tree planting, and then my favorite part is the community engagement and the volunteering part, which I'll talk about more later. And so I'm going to pass it off to Eli now.
Thank you, Ella. My name is Eli Marriott. I'm another AmeriCorps worker working at the Downtown Improvement District. I'm not with the Green Corps, however. I'm with the Climate Impact Corps. It's pretty similar to the Green Corps. It's another year-long service term, also supporting the urban canopy in Minneapolis and also supporting community engagement. So for those who may not know, I'll just say it out loud. The DID, or the Downtown Improvement District, is a business-led nonprofit that offers health and greening support to the downtown community for a 120 block district. And a large part of our mission at the DID is to support, promote, and celebrate stewardship and volunteerism in the downtown area. So I just want to talk about 3 ways that we plan on supporting Loring Park volunteering and stewardship this year. So the first way that we're going to do that, and this might be one way that you all recognize, is with the Greening Awards. So the Greening Awards, for those who may not know, the Downtown Improvement District for the past 7 years have been giving out a friendly competition to downtown businesses and neighborhood associations, where people in the public and residents of downtown can vote for their favorite green spaces. And not surprisingly, the Loring Park has won an award for each year that the Greening Awards has been going on, so for 7 years, which is just awesome to see. So congratulations to you guys, and expect that competition to happen again this year as well. The second way that we're planning on supporting you this year is with a greening video that we are publishing. So on Earth Day, look out for our social media and on our website, because we're going to be posting a video focused on grassroots greening initiatives in downtown. We've interviewed people from all the surrounding neighborhoods to talk about ways that they are supporting greening in their downtown community. For Loring Park, we interviewed Lee Freelick, who talked to us about why the trees look so good on the Loring Greenway and ways that you can get involved this year as well. And then the last thing I just want to talk about is we also support your stewardship and volunteerism by simply communicating about events that are happening in the Loring Park and downtown area. On the DID website, you can find a calendar that has events posted on it for all the different areas of and neighborhoods of downtown. So if you ever want to get involved with another neighborhood or just downtown in general, feel free to check that out on our website. Thank you.
Okay, we're not done yet. Everybody, just 5 more minutes. Okay. So Eli mentioned all of those great ways that we're supporting volunteering in downtown. So I want to just talk about 3 more things, just like some new initiatives that we're planning for this year. So the first thing is tree watering. So we've partnered in the past with the Downtown Minneapolis Neighborhood Association, or DMNA, they're another neighborhood organization, to water newly planted trees. And so newly planted trees need water once a week because they're planted in very stressful environments right along the streets there. And so for their first 2 years of life, they really need water once a week. So DMNA provides funding as well as DID to contract out watering services once a week. And then also in the North Loop, they have like an Adopt a Tree watering program, and we help facilitate that by helping them talk to the park board to figure out where like the new trees are being planted. And so we wanted to bring that to your attention because new trees are planted throughout downtown every year. And so if anyone's really interested in volunteering to adopt a tree, we are like very open. We have the system set up to help like facilitate that. And so that's a great way for people to get involved. kind of like take a little tree in. So very excited about that in the other neighborhoods. So we'd love to get that started here too. The next thing I just want to talk to you about, oh yeah. Yeah, good question. So the question was, does it cost anything to adopt a tree, or is it just volunteer time? And nope, it doesn't cost anything. It's just the cost of the water. So the trees will have watering bags on them, and you're usually like 20 or 25 gallon bags. So it would just be figuring out a way, like, I know some people, there's one woman who has a stroller with just gallons of water, and that's how she does it. If you can hook up somewhere, you can just fill up that watering bag. So yeah, no cost besides the cost of the water. Cool. Okay, so the next thing then is in the Elliott Park neighborhood. We're doing some work there too to kind of bolster the tree canopy there. And so we're trying to add equity work into our greening work by focusing on areas where residents have lower income, where there's lower tree canopy, and areas of higher pollution. And so there's a few areas right along the freeway in that corner of downtown that really could use more trees. So we are in the process of securing funding for a tree planting project there. I know it's on the opposite side of downtown from you all, but just want to like clue you in on kind of how we see the urban forest as a whole canopy, and we want to make sure everyone is getting the support that they need. Not all the neighborhoods have the amazing Lee Freilich to help their trees. So, and then finally, the third thing, which is what I'm most excited about, Eli mentioned a little bit about Earth Day. We're going to be launching that grassroots greening video. We're also going to be launching an Adopt a Rain Garden program. And so this will be a program where residents, no cost, actually you'll get like a free t-shirt and prizes and things if you sign up. You can sign up to take care of just a planting bed or rain garden throughout downtown. And so this is open to like business owners, residents, and there will be different tasks you can do, like litter pickup, monitoring plant health, watering plants, watering trees. So really excited to launch that, working with the city of Minneapolis on that. And that will be launched on Earth Day again. And then with that, we'll also be just kind of doing a big push to like let all the neighborhood organizations know that everyone is doing something for Earth Day. I know you all are planning a litter pickup. The other neighborhood organizations are also planning things. And I think that's one of the coolest things about downtown is we all do our own little volunteering events in our little corners of downtown. And so we just want to raise awareness of all the good things happening. Okay, so with that, that is all we have to share today. So thank you so much for having us. I just want to close by saying that the door is wide open for partnership, and that we really want to just support any greening or volunteering work you all have. So just please reach out. Lee and Jana have our contact information, or just catch us after the meeting. So thank you.
Thank you.
I have the honor of receiving this award, which really belongs to everyone here and to this whole neighborhood, which is the Best Neighborhood Greening, Loring Park. And so I have to say that between Friends of Loring Park, the Loring Greenway Association, and Dale Partnership, I would challenge you to find another community, really anywhere, where there is such a high level of commitment in volunteering and giving up one's own resources to make these public spaces better. And I think we all should be really proud of that. And the other part to that is that the place that Citizens for Loring Park Community has had for all of these organizations. I don't know that any one of them would really exist today if Citizens for a Loring Park Community wasn't there at the beginning with the leadership to make those organizations happen. And so I think that's something for this organization to be really proud of. And so, saying a few words first, I guess, about the Loring Greenway Association. This organization was founded going on 15 years ago when the Loring Greenway, which runs from Nicollet Mall to Loring Park, was renovated. At that time, it was realized that there was very limited money for doing much more than really basic lawns and trees. That's when the community came together and formed an organization. And today, it's partnering with the Public Works Department. The community provides all the flowers that you see on the Loring Greenways. And then also the shrubs, and we partner with the park board, I believe, in taking care of the trees, and tables and chairs and more. It's a very, I believe, successful organization. We continue to garner a great deal of support from the surrounding residential and business community. And then maybe just the one piece of news from last year, we were able to work with the city of Minneapolis. This year we will be moving forward with an assessment of the Greenway for a capital renewal project to rebuild some of the failing infrastructure, which would happen in the next 3 to 7 more years. We don't know how long it might actually be, but it's actually in the works, and that's really important. And then finally, maybe a few words about the Hennepin-Lyndale partnership. This is a partnership of the cultural, religious, educational, and residential institutions that surround the Hennepin-Lyndale corridor. A partnership with them and Green Minneapolis, which contracts out workers to take care of the plants that are in all of the medians that run from the Basilica going up past Hennepin Avenue on United Methodist Church. The partnership has also worked to seek improved and more landscaping. There's more work to do and more funding needed. So if you're interested in supporting that effort, let me know. It would be great to have your support. I think that's all I have to say.
Thank you, John. Okay, next is Trent Palmberg, who's going to talk about the Nicollet Safety Coalition.
Yeah, well, good evening, everybody. I'm Trent. I'm the pastor here at the Music Box Theater. So first of all, thanks for being here. We love hosting this. We love the Loring Park neighborhood. I work with Jana on the safety committee. In fact, raise your hand if you've ever been to a safety committee meeting. There's probably a lot of us in here. Yeah, usually we'll have 20, maybe 30 people on that call. It involves people from the neighborhood, business owners, churches, nonprofits, anybody that calls Loring Park in this area home. We say, come to that meeting. There's representatives from Minneapolis Police, from the Hennepin County Attorney's Office, to where we really, our whole thing is we want to identify problems and then solve them. So if you've ever been part of these meetings, you know that we actually raise real issues, and then we are kind of treated as a task force when we get on it. So we've solved a lot of problems in the neighborhood. We've worked with apartment buildings that are doing turnaround. So we just really believe that you need engaged residents, you need engaged business owners, you need engaged nonprofits to really make a neighborhood better. So if you'd like to join that, it's every second Thursday of the month. So email me or email Jana and we'll send you out the Zoom link. We used to meet here in person, but it just works better now on Zoom. So if you've got a way to hop on, we'd love to have you. So with that, I'll pass it back.
Thank you.
So last June, I participated in the first phase of a project on which CLCP collaborated with Reita del Sol to create a pocket park on the land between the school and the freeway. The goal was to create something beautiful and reclaim the land from dumping, graffiti, and loitering. The project was a community MnDOT roadside partnership grant. MnDOT provided a landscaper to design the project and provided funds to the city to purchase trees, flowers, and mulch. The city managed the planting of the trees and marked the site for underground wires or pipes. It was an absolutely beautiful day, and it was so very much fun to be out there with people from the neighborhood that had been recruited by CLPC, and there were people, of course, from the Reita del Sol school. And we also had the Allen Page Scholars there. So we were all busy. We planted about 100 different plants and spread mulch, and it was just a wonderful community project. And CLPC was very instrumental in making that happen.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so that's enough of that. Luisa Rito de Sol Miro. Are you substituting for Louisa?
She has a group together. She has Alan Page and Foundation and the scholars together. And so you can be watching for that happening on the south side of her building.
Okay, and then next is David with Community Events National Night Out.
Yeah, Loring Park is going to be involved with the National Night Out event again this year. And for our neighborhood, it will take place on Tuesday, August 1st, 2023, and from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. It will take place at the Women's Club parking area that's on Oak Grove Street. The event is sponsored by a partnership. It's a partnership between the CLPC, the Women's Club of Minneapolis, and Involve Minnesota. There will be some wonderful food provided free of charge. It will be prepared by Involve Minnesota. There will also be live entertainment. There will be various community information booths set up where you can learn more about what's going on in the neighborhood and hopefully get involved. So we encourage everyone to attend and to bring along your neighbors. Thank you.
Now it goes back to Jana to talk about Love Loring and other items.
Okay, so our newest event is the second annual Peace in the World event. And we have the Diversity Street Dancers, who's a Russian dancing group based actually out of our neighborhood right here on Nicollet Avenue. J.D. Still and the Mill City Singers are going to perform. Mark Stillman, who you heard earlier, is going to perform. And we're putting that together now. It's going to fall on May 13th, which is not only City of Minneapolis Neighborhood Day, but it is also Doors Open. And the person who's organizing Doors Open, Scott Mayer, lives in the neighborhood. So we're co-promoting the events, so that's really cool. And I also wanted to just kind of stress that in April, from the 11th to the 14th, we're doing another Love Loring online auction. And I have to tell you that we are actually at a point where we have businesses calling and offering donations. We have already filled up the 32 spots for our 32 spot auction, and we're building onto it. So it's going to be really great. Lots of really cool things. People have offered to have like appetizers and cocktails on their roof, or who would that be? And beer and brats on their rooftop patio. And people have taken photographs and are matting them and donating it. So any sort of skill, talent has been put into this auction, and it's going to be really cool. And then last, I wanted to say that, you know, Loring Park is about all the volunteers. We couldn't do events, we couldn't do projects without teams of volunteers. And you've heard all the volunteers speak tonight, and I think they all deserve a huge round of applause because it's amazing. That's what makes, you know, you can build your capacity when you have volunteers. So how about a round of applause for all these fabulous volunteers? And then working with me, I have a contractor named Hannah. Hannah does the communications for us. She keeps up the website. We send her articles. She lays them out in the newsletter, then we edit it, and then she distributes it. She keeps our mailing list. She will create flyers when needed. Hannah, I want to thank you for her invaluable work. And then we have Shirley, and Shirley is our bookkeeper. She's been our bookkeeper for a couple of decades now, and she's just impeccable. And we couldn't operate without those two individuals. And then third, I have a little bit of funding for technical assistance because there's a lot of times where there's an administrative thing come up and I just really don't have the time to figure it out. So I call Robert Thompson, and Robert Thompson does it for me. And so Robert Thompson is like the best friend you want to have. And so I want to also thank Robert Thompson. So there's a whole team of people putting things together. And then don't forget to vote, loringpark.org. Even though the ballot is uncontested because we have 5 people running and 5 seats, you still have to vote because by law, in order to have an annual meeting, you have to vote. So please go online and vote, loringpark.org. Thanks.
Next it goes to David Evinger for the financial report because Terry Ashmore again is recuperating.
I am not the treasurer. Terry Ashmore is the treasurer. She would normally be giving this report, but as you heard, she had a incident on the ice. And Terry, I think you're listening, and we wish you all well in a speedy recovery. It's been kind of tough, but let's get through this. So Terry has been the treasurer. Shirley was just mentioned by Jana. She's the bookkeeper and has been for many years. And then Jana, as executive director since 2001, has done so much work for the finances of this group. And we want to thank them all for just a whole lot of work, not just this last year, but in prior years. So, as for some numbers, we closed the 2022 year with $22,958 in checking, $16,601 in savings. Out of the savings account, there are temporarily restricted funds of $3,590 dedicated to the Burger Fountain Project. Our year-end balance sheet reflects $39,559 in total assets and liabilities. 25% of the CLP's annual budget, or annual income rather, is donations from the community through our annual Love Loring auction that you've just heard about, and then the neighborhood holiday party that John and Norman so kindly put on, and through annual campaign funds. Business and property owners support our events through cash sponsorships or in-kind contributions. We have a city community engagement grant, and we engage through events, activities, projects, and committee and task force work. We continue to implement the neighborhood revitalization strategic plan with remaining NRP funds. Projects include that HN Lindale greening, the Burger Fountain restoration, the inoculation of the ash trees, and the 2023 Harmon public improvements. We'd like to thank the condos in Loring Park for their annual support for the Neighborhood National Night Out Party, and Gary, Jody, and Brock from the 19 Bar for always donating soda and water to all of these events. So, it's being worked on now, but in 2024, we hope to launch our Burger Fountain Restoration fundraising campaign in partnership with Friends of Loring Park and Loring Greenway Association. Also working on it now, but in 2024, we plan to update the CLPC website and further explore innovative ideas to secure additional funding. And we want to thank the City of Minneapolis for their continued financial support for the neighborhoods in Minneapolis. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, we're a little ahead of schedule, and it's time for the wrap up here. Again, don't forget to go to loringpark.org to vote. Don't forget to sign up for our newsletter if you're not getting that, and that's loveloring2@gmail.com. Thanks to the people who had exhibits, to Mark Stillman for the music, to Trent Palmberg for hosting the meeting. Sponsors, the 19 Bar, Nicollet Diner, Wooddale Church, our speakers, Lisa Goodman, Inspector Peterson, and our two Green Corps members from DID. And thanks to Somali TV for filming and live streaming this event. So huge thank you to everyone for coming to this meeting. So, is there anything I forgot, Jana? She says perfect. Okay, it's a wrap.